it's a dangerous mistake. Trying to be the person that's out here giving the value, giving people what you have, wanting to change the world, excited, and I just want to give everybody everything I have. And the problem is that we're not generating the revenue. The problem is that we're so excited about helping, and which is great. You want to give value, but we don't have a strategy for how we're actually going to generate clients consistently. And that used to be one of the biggest things. I remember starting this business in this industry, and they kept telling me, Terrell, all you need to do is post content. What I've learned throughout my years of being in business is that you can't just have one way to generate revenue. Yes, you can have a core way, but you never know how somebody's going to come across you, or you never know how you may need to close the deal or close the sale. You may never know that because you've never tried anything else. You've never been taught it, or nobody ever told you like, oh wow, these are the ways to generate revenue. These are the ways to keep your business afloat during a recession. These are the ways to be able to grow and continue to build and make the money that you want to make in your business. Does that make sense? Nobody's never taught us, so a lot of times we just don't know. We know what we know. We know we have the education or the expertise to help people, but we don't know the business model behind it. So that is what we're talking about today. All right, so I'm excited about that. So let's get to it. So very first thing, what's the first thing we need to know? When it really comes to generating revenue, especially during a recession, the biggest thing, just, and this is a 30,000 foot view, biggest thing is you got to have multiple ways to market and advertise your business. So number one, first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that organically that you're consistently dropping content organically. Consistently dropping content organically. And this might sound a little bit counterintuitive to what I was mentioning earlier, saying, oh, I think I'm going to get all of these clients, really just post them. But the reason that this is important is because this is what, it may not necessarily be a lead generation strategy, because most people think that dropping content is great for lead generation, but it's actually more for lead nurturing. A lot of the times you can tell people to buy all day, but if you have not built the authority, people are not going to listen to you. See, there's a difference when Jay-Z or 50 Cent tells you to do something. You're more likely going to take that advice into consideration, or you're more likely going to do it if somebody that you know and that you respect tells you to do it because of what they built. And so how do we do that as experts? How do we do that as influencers, as coaches, as speakers? How do we do that? We do that through being an authority, through dropping our content online. So yes, you could generate revenue without it, and I'll share some ways with you, but don't get it twisted. If you want to get that word of mouth going, if you want to get people who will periodically come up to you or periodically comment or periodically shoot you messages or DMs and ask you for help or ask you questions, yes, those are all great opportunities to generate revenue, all great opportunities to get clients. But the very first thing is, or one of the first things is, you definitely want to be dropping content on a consistent basis. People need to be seeing you on a consistent basis, being the authority. I get clients. I had somebody come up to me one time and literally became a client just because of my consistency. He was like, man, I've been following you for over a year. And he was like, yo, you don't give up. You post content every day. You're always doing trainings. You always got this going on, that going on. You're helping people. You're enrolling people in your content. He's like, yo, I've been following you for a long time. And he was like, yo, I need that consistency. I've had clients that literally did that, became clients because of that. So it's important that you are becoming that authority on your topic. And you got to be out here. You got to be out here pushing it consistently. Now, you might say, listen, I'm already doing that, right? And if you are, great. There's certain things that I'll help you with in order to make sure that you do that at a higher level. But that's number one. Number two, second thing we got to focus on is you got to focus on in-person networking. So what's different than number one, it may be you should be dropping content every week on YouTube. And consistent on 2 to 3 platforms, right? Doing reels, etc. But this next piece is in person. Yo, what's good? Like we just had a PCS boot camp, which is for coaches and speakers. We just had this over the last couple weeks. You're gonna meet people in person. You got to know how to connect with people in person. You got to know how to make magic happen in person. So you never know. You might meet somebody at a Barnes and Nobles, at a Starbucks, at a conference. You never know where you're going to meet people who will potentially be clients. You might at a parent teacher conference. You never know where you're going to meet people. But the thing is this: if you're not ready, you're gonna miss those opportunities all day long. So you need to be ready. You need to be putting yourself out there. By the way, I'm giving you recession-proof hacks. I'm not giving you just one thing, and if that thing goes down or that thing happens, right, all of these strategies together is what's gonna make it recession-proof. So you need to be able to meet people in person. There's always associations meetings going on. There's always some kind of nonprofit. There's always something happening at schools, so universities, at local hotels in your local city. Look at nearby cities if you're not in a big city. Um, um, look at just you have to do your research. You know what I mean? Do your research and see what's online and be outside. A lot of times we get so stuck behind the computer screen or the phone that we forget that there's a real world out there that we need to get in front of. We need to, and I'm a big component of building things online, so don't get it twisted. But however, we gotta focus on different channels as well to be able to grow and build our business. Right? I get clients from other masterminds that I'm in, right? I'm in masterminds, I go to meetings, I go to conferences, whether, going out to volunteer somewhere, or maybe you're paying just to be a part of it, or it might be a one-day experience, or whatever it is, but get out and meet people. And so that networking piece is key. And especially one of the things that I know we're doing, because at the time I'm doing this right now, we're launching a podcast. And part of the thing that's important to me is getting good guests for the podcast that people can learn from. So yes, I'm gonna be on my LinkedIn game heavy, LinkedIn reaching out. I'm gonna be sending emails. Yes, I'm taking advantage of everything online. However, it's very important that I know, and I'm in New York City, so I'm like, I can go downtown, or I can go to this hotel. I can look up certain things that's happening, keep tabs on the key people that I want to do business with, and meet them in person. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, go ahead and put make sense below. So that's the type of time we want to be on. So your networking game got to be on point for clients and or for partners. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, once you got your organic game, you got your organic game tight. We got your in-person game tight. Now let's talk about paid advertising. So this is where you want to leverage like a Facebook ads to be able to generate revenue or to generate clients. So the reason I like paid advertising is, and I literally just got off of a coaching call. I was saying this to one of our clients that, what's great about ads is that people, if the offer is good and is what they want, you'll get a lead like that. Like people will sign up. And that's very unique to anything else, because usually, imagine having to DM somebody. Imagine you just DM somebody cold, or you message somebody cold. If somebody messaged you cold, what's the first thing you're going to do? You might not even respond back. You'll likely, let me look up this person. You're going to look at their little avatar. You're going to research the person. You're going to look up the person. You're going to see if they legit, especially if you're having a conversation with them. And then now it's, now they're saying, okay, listen, I can help you, whatever. You might say, okay, but let me look up this person first, because you want to see if this person got credibility before you meet with them. Right? That was a big challenge that I heard early on. I'm like, man, I'm not getting people really responding to me in the DMs. But the truth of the matter is that I didn't have anything at the time. I didn't have anything to show for it to make them interested to say, yo, my man has enough credibility to help me. Does that make sense? So you got to have the credibility to help people, is what it comes down to. And however, but ads is a cheat code, because when's the last time you did your full-blown research on an ad? Think about it. When's the last time you signed up for something through an ad? Did you do all of this research first? No, you basically looked at the creative or the video or whatever. You read it. You was like, oh wow, this is dope, or this is something that I want. You might have read some comments, but then you signed up for it. And so that's the dopest part about ads, is that if it's something that your audience, your ideal audience wants, they're gonna sign up for it. That's the importance of targeting. That's the importance of messaging. That's the importance of knowing what captures attention, or knowing the pain points of your ideal client, and knowing how to say what your credibility is and really understand what they're going through, like you're hiding under the kitchen table at night, listening to their deepest, darkest secrets and pains and challenges.